Long before the world knew his name, in the bustling heart of Catalonia, a child was born on July 13, 2007. His parents came from different worlds. His father, Munir, from Morocco, and his mother, Sheila, from Equatorial Guinea. Together, they raised their son, Lamine Yamal, in the working-class neighborhood of Rocafonda in Madeira. This neighborhood was no stranger to struggle. It was diverse, multicultural, sometimes tough, but it was also filled with dreams, energy, and passion. That passion is what fueled Lamine. From his earliest days, a ball seemed glued to his feet. Even as a little boy, there was something magical about how he treated the game. At just 4 years old, Lamine started playing for a small local side, CF La Torreta. His family quickly noticed that football wasn't just a hobby for him, it was his life. Whenever he scored, he'd celebrate with a gesture, his fingers forming the number 304. It wasn't random. It was a tribute to his Rocafonda roots, his neighborhood code, a reminder of where he came from. And no matter how high he would eventually climb, that gesture would always connect him back to his beginnings. By the time he was 7, Barcelona had already spotted him. La Masia, the legendary academy that produced greats like Xavi, Iniesta, and Lionel Messi, opened its doors to this young boy. For most kids, La Masia is a dream. For Lamine, it was the start of destiny. From the first day, his coaches knew they had something special. He wasn't just fast. He wasn't just skillful. He had vision. He could see the game 2 or 3 steps ahead. He was a child, yet he played with the mind of a veteran. In 2022, when most kids his age were worrying about school exams, Lamine was already training with Barcelona's first team. Xavi Hernandez, the club legend-turned-manager, had invited him. Imagine that, 15 years old, still not old enough to drive, yet rubbing shoulders with world-class professionals. Lamine didn't look out of place. He looked ready. And then came the moment that would change his life forever. On April 29, 2023, in a La Liga match against Real Betis, Lamine Yamal stepped onto the pitch. At just 15 years, 9 months, and 16 days old, he became the youngest Barcelona debutant in over a century. The Camp Nou roared as this teenager, barely taller than some ball boys, showcased his talent with confidence. He wasn't nervous. He wasn't intimidated. He was home. What followed was nothing short of historic. In the months to come, records began falling one by one. He became the youngest starter in Barcelona's La Liga history, the youngest to provide an assist, the youngest to score a goal, and eventually the youngest to score 2 in one game. By the end of his first full season, he had racked up more than 10 goal contributions, an achievement no one his age had ever reached in Spain's top division. And it wasn't just domestic football where he made history. In the Champions League, the grandest stage in Europe, Lamine Yamal rewrote the rulebook. He became the youngest ever starter, and later, the youngest player to appear in the knockout stages. The bright lights of Europe didn't overwhelm him. They fueled him. He played with a mix of flair and intelligence that made commentators and fans whisper the same word again and again. Messi. But Lamine was not Messi, and he never pretended to be. This was his story, his path. When Spain came calling, the story got even bigger. At just 16 years old, he debuted for the Spanish national team, immediately becoming their youngest ever player. And not only did he play, he scored. His first goal for Spain sent shockwaves across the footballing world. He wasn't just Barcelona's Wonderkid anymore. He belonged to the global stage. Then came Euro 2024, a tournament that would etch his name into history. Lamine became the youngest ever to feature in the competition, the youngest to assist, and the youngest to score. His performances were electric, his confidence unshakable. And when Spain lifted the trophy, there he was at the heart of it all. 17 years old, holding silverware that seasoned professionals could only dream of. For his brilliance, he was named the young player of the tournament. The football world stood still and applauded. That same year, he returned to Barcelona, not just as a rising star, but as a cornerstone of the team. The 2024-25 season would be one of dominance. Barcelona lifted the La Liga title, the Copa del Rey, and the Supercopa, a domestic treble. And through it all, Yamal was at the center of the storm, dazzling defenders, delivering assists, and scoring crucial goals. 9 goals and 13 assists at just 17 years old. Numbers that spoke of maturity beyond his years. And then, perhaps the most symbolic moment of all, he inherited the number 10 shirt, the same number worn by Lionel Messi, the greatest player in Barcelona's history. For fans, it was more than just a number. It was a passing of the torch. In a ceremony that moved everyone watching, his grandmother from Morocco was there, her tears flowing as her grandson carried the weight of a legacy. From Rocafonda to Camp Nou, the journey had come full circle. But with greatness comes pressure. Coaches like Hansi Flick, Barcelona's manager, called him a true genius, destined to be one of the greatest ever. Legends like Emmanuel Petit praised him, but also warned him, don't let arrogance creep in, don't get lost in the fame. The spotlight is heavy, and history has seen many prodigies crumble under it. Yet when asked about his own game, Lamine was humble. He admitted he wasn't at his best yet, that he still had to improve his intensity, his consistency. For someone already breaking records, that humility is what makes him even more dangerous. Now with a contract that ties him to Barcelona until 2031, the future belongs to him. At just 17, he has achieved more than most professionals do in an entire career. And yet his story is still only beginning. He is not trying to be the next Messi, the next Ronaldo, or the next anyone. He is trying to be the first Lamine Yamal. From the narrow streets of Rocafonda, where a little boy first kicked a ball, to the grand stages of Europe, where history is written in lights, Yamal's journey is one of raw talent, discipline, and unshakable pride. His roots will always remind him where he started, and his dreams will always push him further than anyone imagined. The world now watches as this teenager, with a smile on his face and destiny at his feet, carries the hopes of a club, a country, and a generation. And so, the story of Lamine Yamal is not just about football. It is about a boy who believed, a family who sacrificed, a community that inspired, and a future that shines brighter with every step he takes. His name is Lamine Yamal, and this, without question, is only the beginning.